Hello, I am Ulrich. I'm a Lenormand Card reader. Some of you will know me already. Normally, we do traditional monthly readings, or we do for the signs, or we do financial readings. But this time, we will do something totally different. As you know, as you all know, there's some severe situation there going on in Afghanistan. A lot of people are in a lot of trouble there. The regime is changing. So what we will do is we will see how this works out for the people in general. What are the changes that are going to come? What are the changes for the man? What is the for men in general, for women in general, for the education system, and how does the religion have a certain impact on the whole system? So the first card that we see here, that is the card that actually presents the current situation. And we see here the coffin. As you already presumed, the coffin is not a happy card. It's a card of total transformation. As we saw on the last days yesterday, that is literally there. So that is also here upon the people, it means, but there's also serious psychological transformations. What does this card represent more? Well, the card also, as we know from the media, the troops will leave at 31 August. So this card represents as a date. It's a dangerous prediction that I'm making here. This represents the 8th. And the next card, these are two important cards, represent the 9th. So this means my assumption is, according to the cards, there will be severe changes between the 8th and the 9th. These changes will probably come in the night. So there will be serious changes because this is the card that is also associated with midnight. For the moment here also, the coffin represents a mask, and it means what we see right now, we cannot see what is going on. The coffin is closed, so we cannot see in the future what is there. But what we can see is that there is something going on. This means fake personalities. Also, this means that the people are very shocked about this situation, that something frightening is really happening there. This is a situation that is not to be taken lightly. Literally on the persons in general, this also represents widowhood. So it means we're gonna see a lot of people that are passing away there. Actually, this also is the card for paralysis. So it means that the people are paralyzed, they feel numb, they feel that is upon them, they feel depression, and also they have the feeling here, the people in general, they are forgotten. They are forgotten and they are stuck. So they have no choice but transforming. They have the sense that they are in a fruitless situation, and they are considering like giving up or letting go or moving forward. But their mind is digesting this whole process. So they don't know yet where they are. This card also represents that the time is up and nothing new will be happening for a while. That is the situation now. But as we saw yesterday, also there is some bombing there. People say these are separatist groups, but according to military, that's I go in the news now, they say these groups are directly connected to the new government or the new system that is happening there. So it's actually that they put their people under pressure, and that is what you saw that is happening there with the bombings on the airport there. Here also, this represents like the people are mourning, but they have no place to go with their mourning. It's like they are mourning, but they don't know what they are mourning about. It's like a mourning. It's like love without a house here. This is what this card represents. Then the second card that we have here is the bouquet. Actually, this is a very good card, but in combination with the coffin, it brings up difficult situation. This is like they are literally sticked, because this card sticks, it glues to death. So for now, this is a very difficult situation that they are having here. It's like the whole people there, they are connected to death. And also soon, as we see already now, there will be no more sugar coating. But we also see here, if we go then up the system, there's a kind of vanity. There's a vanity going on from the people that are controlled now. And it's like they are making themselves up like a makeup artist for presenting themselves in a different way that they are. This combination also, sometimes it represents a pregnancy that can go wrong. And then we see here, I'm going to connect it now to the third card. We're going to start with the cross, but later we will come back. The third card here is the dog. So this means that the situation probably will escalate about 8 or 9 September, that is, but then that is the actually conception. But my assumption is in about 9 months, we will see the real severe effects of this. And also this represents how the authorities think about the people. Sometimes the cards give us literally what it is. And here we see the dog. So they see their people literally as dogs. They see them as second-hand citizens who need to be listening to what they are presenting. This is what we see here. So coming back here to these two cards, I want to connect it also here to the second card. Then we immediately go here. So we have the coffin, and then here we go now by the line. We have the garden here, and here they're playing the field. They're playing the field. They go into the media, and they act actually like angels. But this is what they do in front of the media. They are publicly showing they are like angels. They are like innocent people. But as we see later on the lane, that is not the question. That is not the thing here. Here also, this combination, it represents exhibitionism. What does that mean? Well, these people, they clearly show what they are doing. But in another way, we have the book here, and the book hides. So they show themselves very pretty, very beautiful, but what is going on, we cannot actually see, because the book hides actually what is going on. This combination also shows that they are working like a team. There's a cooperation going on. There's with people that we cannot actually see. So it's not only them that are working there, but there are other people involved. As we saw already, these are extremist groups, and they have an impact on all the people. So there's a cooperation with different teams for getting the people in line. But we will go later. Then we just go now line by line. Here, the coffin and the garden. Here we see that somebody is returning from before. A leader from before is returning. But the leader that you see here is represented by the coffin. And this is like, it's like somebody is coming back. It's like an executioner is coming back. Normally, this should be a happy return, but in this case, we need to ask ourselves questions. We need to make concerns here. This is literally that we get a visit of Joe Black, like the dead, literally. You saw the movie, you know what I mean. The person visits you, that visits you when it's your time. So here also, this again, as I said, this point to a make-up situation. They present themselves pleasant, nicely. But since the book is there, we cannot actually see what they are representing. This combination points also to a person who sells dried flowers. So it means they sell something, they literally sell debt. To take this upon mythology, this is like Hades when he abducted Persephone, but in this case we see Persephone as the people and they are abducted. And when Persephone was abducted by Hades, when she actually returned after, she was changed. She was not anymore that person that she was before. And while her stay in the underworld, she became the queen of death. So as you understand me, if we connect this to mythology, these people are in for a serious change. Then we see the coffin and the garden on itself. Here we will see in the future, there's a lot of communication, but there will also be postponement. They postpone something, and also this means public funerals. So this represents a cemetery, mourning, all things that are connected to that. So this is the start only that we see here. This represents that the weather is about to change. Also, this means that the people, there is like a social shame. The people are ashamed that this is overcoming them. This is the end of the party. And here we literally see that the government is wearing masks. Also, there are made fake statements, there are secrets, and things are hidden from the public, because we have the book here also. We see here smoke screens, and I'm assuming this is connected also to the bombings there. So they are presenting that they are not the ones responsible for it. But when I see this combination, this tells me the opposite. So they know exactly what is going on, but this is followed by extreme groups. This is the extreme wing. Here there is a transformation going on, and this transformation is irreversible. The image now, they're building up, the Taliban, is more important than the public's well-being, because as we saw, the public's well-being is considered to be doggish. Also here we see that the Taliban, they represent themselves as honest, they are committed to their wives, but this also represents, it's not the case. This means they have subcultures. There are hidden cultures underneath, hidden, where there is fun. But this is only for the leadership. Also, this means literally a grave digger, so we can expect more things to come there. Here then we come to the garden and the book. The garden and the book, it represents public study, that we can study in public, that we get more intellectual knowledge. But since it's connected to the current situation, we know that these studies probably will be connected to their religion. So also this means that they will make a lot of things clear to the public, and all these things that are made clear will be directly connected to the religion. So they will need to follow what is put upon them. Also, they will influence or try to influence, because this is a manipulative card. They will try to manipulate newspapers, news channels. They will try to make facts, manipulate facts. Starting 27, that is today, Mercury is running retrograde. And during that time, up to 18 October, this is, people, we see more lies coming up. People are turning the truth. They are representing false facts. And also things that you are trying to hide come out. So this is double. Then here we have the key, the bouquet. So these points, they are handling the situation very smartly. Media, they represent themselves nice, and they pretend that they have the situation, the current situation in hand, but actually they don't have, because behind the scenes there's a lot of chatter and nervousness, because the birds represent serious nervousness. So it means they represent themselves beautiful and they are calm, they are drinking tea with cookies, but actually behind the scenes there is a very stressful situation going on. Also, even we don't like, some media channels and some countries will congratulate them. As we know, there are already several countries, or there are still several countries there that are still, their embassies are open, and you will see there will come congratulations from these countries with what they have achieved. But these countries that are represented there are China and Russia, as we know, and Pakistan. These regimes are also oppressive regimes. So that's why they congratulated. So they help them to play the media. This is what we see here. Here, it's like they have an all makeover, body-like and mental-like. But this is just fake. This is not what is happening now. This is all fake. This is all fake. Because the real truth is in the coffin and in the book. Then we have the bouquet and the birds. Normally, this is a very good combination for fun. So I'm sure there is fun, but this fun is only for certain groups. They are really celebrating, and they are celebrating their independence. But this is for an elite group of people who are well off and who enjoy things that they had no access to before. So probably the other countries, as earlier mentioned, provide these things for them, and they are enjoying these new presents now. But as we already know, if certain people give you a present, this is a present with a catch. There is something deeper going on here with this combination. There will come some form of resolution or good news, but this good news will be for the people in charge, not for the people in general, not for all the people, not for everybody. Here also on social media, we will see that there is affection displayed towards them, and they will appreciate, they will go into that for making themselves popular. It's like the Chinese, we see the same with the Chinese. Then we see the tower, the rider, and the dog. Here, at a certain point, they will make straightforward messages. One day they will be not so clear, but at a certain point, they will make clear messages. And they will make it sure that the people understand that they are moving on from the past. They will make the people clear that the situation from before never returns, as we saw here with the coffin, but they will expose that. This combination is like also that you are constantly guarded by police forces. You are constantly controlled. It's like constantly secret agencies are watching your back. This is what we see here also with this combination. Also, certain changes will include timelines. And people will think it will go slow, but since we have the rider here, it will not. Some changes will go very, very fast, because the rider, he rides the horse, and this is literally like a police horse. So this news, this corporate news, will shock everybody that it goes so fast. This represents also top management. Also, they will not allow interference, meddling. They want to do their own thing. They will isolate themselves also, but they will play nice in the media. They will try to create a sort of bravado, but nobody will be impressed. Then we have the rider and the dog on itself. This represents somebody from the past who is returned, as we saw there, and the regime see this person as a friend. This might be somebody who's still hidden, and that is somebody who's always playing a big part behind the scenes. This person will be returned, and he will have a very big impact on the changes to come. This person also, once he's there, since we have the rider, the messages that he spreads will be intrusive. There will be no mistake when he says something that he means what he says, because we have the towers. And the people will need to follow whatever this person says. This really means also harassment. They will be pushed forward and they will have no choice. Then we have the coffin, the key, and the tower. Here, something very important, as we saw here, will be unlocked. Here, certain opportunities are represented. The people also will become aware that it's actually happening. Now they are still in a state of numbness. But here, when the key is used to open the system, because this is the system, they will actually be aware, and they will be aware in the severe situation that they are coming in. This presents a life changer. This is a change of life. And sometimes for some people, this will be very difficult, because some things that were important for them, they will not be able to distinguish anymore because they are so suppressed. There is a fear. They will feel very vulnerable. It's like constantly they need to be on their guard, but they cannot guard themselves because it's not possible. And also there's grief here. The people will be grieving. Then we have the key and the tower on itself. What has happened? This means the tower is something that is coming back from the past. So here, this means that things that happened in the past are holding a clue. So we don't need to be very bright to understand that this is back to how the situation was before. So the people in charge, they are longing back to go to the old situation that they had 20 years ago. Also, the whole change will be implemented fast, but for completing the process, it will take a long time. Here, they will set long-term goals. Here, long-term goals are set. These people are not coming there for 3 weeks because the tower is on the long run. They set goals and they want to succeed because the key is success. Also here, this is releasing of new legislation, new laws, and it's connected to the coffin, so you already know what it means. It means, we already saw, they burden people, women in particularly, but this means also that these laws will be implemented, and since we have the garden here, I'm assuming they will be implemented in public. This is for creating public fear. So a lot of people here will withdraw in themselves out of scaredness. Also, a lot of people who will not follow and who were before connected to the free system, to the democratic system, will be imprisoned. Because we have the coffin and the key here, they will literally get those people out of hiding, the key, and open the prison and put them away. And it's not clear when they ever come out, because the key is a very slow card, and here the tower stays in control. And since we have the dog and the rider here, don't expect that these people will be living there in a 3 or 4 stars hotel. You already get my point. So there will be probably some punishment, including also, as we see in other indoctrinating countries. Then here we have the garden, the bouquet. Again here, we see here in the background, there is fun going on. So they represent themselves as virtuous, but in the background, what we don't see, there's a lot of fun. There's public fun. So behind the scenes, they act like very nice married people and following all the rules and the regulation as the Quran. But here we can see this is not the case. There are different women involved here in the system with the people at high places. This is what we can see here. And they celebrate in group. Also, they will try to make themselves as popular as possible, but they will implement a fear regime. There will be a lot of public showing. Also, literally, some people will be insulted in public here. This is what we see here also. For instance, for them, it's an insult if you shave off their beard. So I'm assuming some men will experience this. They will be ashamed in public. But there's a lot of marketing going on. They will use, if they can, they will use any media channel for representing themselves nice and beautiful. Then we have the bouquet and the rider. Again, we have the confirmation as we had before, the happy return of somebody, but we already know who is returning. Also, they will invite people. They will invite their friends. They will be greeted with flowers when they come from the plane, that is. This is the airplane. And also these people, we cannot see that, but they will receive gifts of money for helping them. Towards the people, there will be a lot of social intrusiveness. They will intrude their privacy as much as they can. Then we have the book and the birds. Here, as we know, sometimes with Mercury retrograde, something will come out that they don't like. This is spilling the beans. There will be information shared here that they are not expecting it would be shared. Also, with this combination, we see that they will teach the knowledge of the book, but later we will see the severeness of this. Then here we see also with this combination that people, some select groups, extreme groups, are educated in private. So it's like a different approach of their book, an extreme approach. And there's a lot of communication going on that. This represents private knowledge, private educations. There's also private discussions going on and secret discussions for getting their things organized. And also this points a disorganization of regular study. Also, they will learn to blog. So everything in their advantage, they will teach and learn. Also, some things, if they are in the media, they will pretend they don't know anymore. They pretend to have a short-term memory here. Also here we can see the tensions again, because the birds are very nervous. Some of the groups that they are connected with will also start to get worried because they don't exactly know what their position is. And here also, then with the dog here, this actually represents a hunting dog. So again, here we see that the people are changed. The crowd is chased like a dog. We see this here again. And they will represent it for them as this all that comes out of the book is in their own best interest. But at the same time, they are very nervous, but they don't show it because it's bloomed. But they will be very nervous behind the screen because they are not sure how their system is going to work. As we know, the main problem is financing their new country, but we will come later into that. Here also, with this combination, we see that the loyalties are changing. So if some people are not paid, and money is the problem here, they will change loyalties. They will go for themselves. It's because the government is not yet established. Here also, this points to very heavy principles. And sometimes, even you will not like what I'm saying here, but they will have windfalls. Things will go well for them at a certain point in certain things. Also, since the birds are noisy and the dog is making noise also, they will make a lot of noise about their book. This is what we see here. Sometimes the card literally represents what it is. Then we have the coffin, the bouquet, and the dog. Again, we see the return of a person. And here also we see that actually this is the start, this is the green light of what they want. They will renew their efforts, and some things that they were concerned about actually will work out here. Again, here we see the visit of death, an unpleasant visitor, especially for the people. There will be memorial services, there will be funerals. So this is what we all see. They will also gifts, they will represent gifts to visitors, but the gifts have a manipulative intention. Also, they will take their time to process this all. They will imply debt for getting what they want. This is literally selling debt. So here, old friendships also will be renewed. They will appreciate and they will make it clear that these people that help them, it will shock some people, but they will be very appreciative towards that. But still, they will clean up, polish up their image constantly. There will be like an unconditional admiration here. From them to the friend and from the friend to them. Probably these are friendly governments. The book and the flowers here, this represents other governments that are hiding that they are actually sympathetic with them. So we already know there are three parties on their side, but this means that there are some European countries or other countries that are sympathetic to their goal. Like they say, let's give the nice Taliban a chance. This is what you see here. It's like, this is like an admiration you have that somebody says, oh, your sister is so beautiful. We get something like that here. So it means that other countries will compliment them. First secretly, but then publicly. But there's a truth here. The book is a truth. There's a truth behind all this flattery, what we are seeing here. Slowly also, some wounds of the people will be healing. Slowly. But there will come a separation from partnership from before that existed. There will come a separateness, like a divorce coming here. They will break with some people that they had before totally. Also on theaters, shopping malls, amusement parks, there will come strict restrictions. I'm assuming here, since the woman is in the middle, this represents Venus, especially the women will have the effects of that. They will not be allowed for certain things. This, of course, will create very difficult situation for the women there who are in that situation. There will be an anger inside. This anger will lead to hate. So this is not a good situation here. Also, this represents the elite, the people in charge. Secretly, they will give presents to their family and they will be able to shop for themselves. So their family will be receiving special elite gifts out of prestigious malls. Also here we can see that the gifts are expensive. And also we would not be surprised here that there's plans made for building a very beautiful mosque. This is what we see here also with this. There are plans for that. Since they need to confirm their power, they can only do that with the minaret. And we see the minaret here literally. So they will make something beautiful for showing their power. This is also a milestone here. Some people also with this combination will be forced to clean up the mess that the government made. But there will be a charm going on. It's like they're charming the people for cleaning them up. And they will even cloud or hide their setbacks. They will sugarcoat it. Here, also with this combination, is that they reach out to other authorities for their structural problems. I'm assuming here, the three countries that we mentioned before, they will be reaching out for them for solving their structural problems. As we know, there's a lot of Pakistani already there for controlling the Afghans. So, and we see this here back. They will reach out for more help. Maybe in the setbacks that they have, they don't know how to handle, because these people know how to handle religion, but they have no idea how to run a country. Also here we can see that the people in charge, they dream of a theocracy and they are jealous on other theocracies, especially the ones in charge. They want to establish a theocracy and they want to show this theocracy with the, as I said, with the buildings that they are going to create. Here also, we see a combination. Some people behind the screens have been working for this for a long time. This is planned for a very long time, because this combination here that we see here, this represents 3.5 years, 7 years. These are all combinations of Saturn. And it's now, because of their hard work behind the screen, they are rewarded. But they always will represent themselves very beautiful. Here also, women who are married for several years, this is, I'm going now more personal, they will have difficulties for recognize their own partners in public. Because for instance, if the husband comes home, he's all love and intelligent and he's care for them and they are present. But if he comes in, presents himself in public, it's like he's an ice cube. They don't recognize these people. They don't recognize their own husband on the screen. But here for them, there are, in general, there are happy times. There are government congregations, mosque congregations. Here we see also that the people don't get a break. There's gonna come no break. Here also again, the flowers and the tower. Here we see that the government cleans up constantly his image. It's always coming back. And also they will try to provoke the people. They will go into extremes of the religion and they will try to provoke them for proving their power. The advice here for the people, for the best, it's not a good advice, I know, would be to let everything rest down a little bit. I know people are angry there, I'm aware. But here, this card combination says, we see a lot of, here we see a quiet card, and here this is a slow card also. So for now, the best thing to do would be to keep themselves quiet. Here also, you will see here that the government is kissing the ass of other governments. Sorry for the words I'm using. And even they bribe them. They will bribe other governments to support their network. This is what we see here also. We will use other techniques now. We will mirroring the cards. For now, these two cards means there is no solution. The answer when there will be better changes cannot be answered now because the book keeps it quiet and the coffin stays closed. There is more time needed for information so we can see how this situation evolves. But again, here we see that the ending is revealed, but we don't know. It's like something is sleeping here. This is like the situation, it cannot be diagnosed. Here with this combination, I want to come directly into that before I forgot here. We see in the T cross here. Here with this combination, we see also that women will not be allowed to study anymore. You see the coffin here, you see the book, and this all ports the women will not be allowed to move anymore in education. Also, their beauty as a woman will be very restricted in the future. So we can assume we go back to like the very heavy, like their faces are hidden. Again, we come back to that situation. But also the study will be annihilated. As we already know, they are refused to work again. So this is the next step. A lot of people here we see also yearning. The people yearn for education, but they are not able to. Here, this combination points also that we cannot use, that the public cannot use its intellect. It's supervised by the book and by the government. Then we have the key and the birds we mirror here like this. Here we see that there are worries, how they need to open up. And also at a certain point, certain media groups will lock them out. Maybe like YouTube, they will lock them out. It's already now certain things, but maybe they will actually get locked out. But if they are able to communicate about their book, they will be very noisy. We have the birds here, they will shout it out. Here, also we can see that the people say yes to the regime change because they cannot handle the stress anymore, the pressure that is put on them. This is what we see here also. Then we see the tower and the dog. This literally means that it's like a police dog is coming there. We are constantly treated like dogs. We are constantly, our privacy is invaded. So the people will be controlled very strict, very strict. It will be like a brotherhood, a secret brotherhood that is operating for literally constantly controlling the people. This is literally also an animal shelter. So you can understand they will not be treated with friendship there. And some groups, because of the pressure, will join the Taliban because they cannot handle the pressure anymore. Here also we see that certain requests will come and that the higher authorities will say, no, this is not allowed. They will behave arrogant, the ivory tower towards the people because they are in charge. Even for simple things will be said no. Then we have the garden and the rider. Here is, again, we see there will be fast public announcements that affect women, and especially the mobility of women. So it means probably that the situations from before that they need to be attended or they need to be accompanied by a male, this will come back. Again, here we see the celebration of a higher person. Here also we see that in public people will be literally used, beaten in an aggressive way, and this will lead to many tears. Probably this will be women that are abused in public. This will lead to many difficult situations and tearful situations. There will be literally beatings and penetrations here that we see here. There's public confrontations here that we see here also. Then we see the coffin and the dog. Here we see that the whole society actually there is sick. This is a sick society. Also, some people who had help before, who worked, for instance, for other governments, they will need to give up their loyalty. There is an end here of friendship because these people will literally feel like they are nowhere. They don't know who to ask help, and also probably it will not be possible. This combination also means worshipping death. So here we are coming in a culture that worshipping death. This represents also a morgue, isolation, government destruction. Some structures will be destructed by the government. Some people will not be able to handle it. They will end up in psychiatry, captivity. There are a lot of negative confrontations here with authorities. People will feel depressed, lonely, and sick. Also, it will not be allowed in public, as you know, to show any emotions. This is the end. Then we see the book and the tower. Here we can see the male superiority of the Quran. It's literally an indoctrination, and especially related to women. They will represent this knowledge as erudite, and the women need to follow. This is also this means that this combination, they are locked out of universities. So here we see this coming back. Women are locked out of university. This points to intellectual snobbery of the male government. This is literally snobbery that we see here. There will be corporate rules implemented, university rules, teaching rules, school rules, everything related to the book. Standard works like we see in China. Same here. Standard works will be put up in the future because these serve the authorities. This is indoctrination. Extreme and intellectual elitism we see here with this combination. Then we have the book and the dog. Here, this card tells this is actually the future line. We see the book and the dog here. So I'm just gonna tell you to come out here, this is that they need to follow what the book says. They will shout out and the people will need to follow. This is for the near future. There will be no choice. Here also, this represents that people will need to be very careful if they go out. Even in the groups that they are functioning in, they will be scared of each other. Like we saw before in the communism, you never know who's in the KGB before. This is the same. They will need to be very careful what they are exposing. People will get fear from each other, from their friends, from close friends, because they don't know how close they are here to the government. Also here, we see that they search, they investigate for people who work under the democratic rules. They want to try to find them, and they want to use them for implying the protocols of the book. And especially they will try to find people who are educated for making an example out of them. Again, here we see the secret teachings here. Secret groups are taught, and this is like secret private religious teaching, and they search for minds or people who are easily led to control their thinking process. So again, here we see the indoctrination here. This is treating people like dogs here. Then we are going to knight the cards. So then we see the coffin to the birds, like this. Here we see that the communication will be stalled. They will keep secrets again. And with some parties, they will keep quiet. After this whole process is changed, they will keep quiet for a while, and then they will start communicating again. As we see here, we saw before, they will communicate like they are Miss Universe, but actually they are not. This is like you communicate with that directly. There are really founded worries here in this combination, and some people will be scared to talk. There are very high stress levels here. Here also, then the government in itself, because they are not now yet established, they are very indecisive, but they constantly implement their rules. Also, there will be some people who are now in public that will suddenly disappear. They will suddenly disappear, people who are in charge. And maybe this has to do with these secret meetings, because they don't apply the rules or they don't contemplate with certain values of the book. So they will actually disappear without any explanation. But this means that some people, even on the top, are nerved to the core. Social media accounts are blocked. Here we see this here again. They will express again the end. Here also it will make very clear that this is the end, and they will make it sure that the people know that the end is the end. It's in the past and it will not come back. They will get real shocks. They will get real frightened, sometimes literally by inflicting death. They will be very scared. This is what we see here. Also, some people will turn to their religion. But I mean then the spiritual side of the Muslims, they will try to their spiritual side for finding resolution in their religion. They will turn to their religion for finding a solution. They will pray hard. So this is what we see here also, because there is no way out here. They will not turn to extremism. That's not what I'm saying, but they will pray hard here for their solution, because it's the only thing they have to turn to. Here also, with this combination here, the birds and the book, we see here there's a problem here from bankruptcy. This is that the country is in problems and really there's a chance here on bankruptcy. That's why they need to sweet talk their friends, because they're now in the edge of bankruptcy. So you will see a lot of sweet talk. But this sweet talk is not for helping the people. This is for helping the system, for establishing power. This is not for helping the people. Also, they will delay messages for helping the people. This is what we see here also. So we go now from the coffin to the rider. So messages will be delayed from the government that actually hold in solutions. So they will hold in the solutions as long as they can towards public help, because it's now according to the system, it's not the time for helping the people. It's now the time for establishing the system so the system is secure. People are not important now. So you can bomb them, you can treat them like dogs. This is what is said here. Also here, with this combination, we see that an executioner, this is literally an executioner is coming back. So somebody who has a very bad reputation in the past will be put back in the front, and he will function as an executioner. Then we have the garden and the dog. Here we see that the people are so scared, they are following the crowd. They have crowd behavior. They have meetups with friends. These are points also to fanatic communities, and people are treated like they are in the zoo, like dogs. This is what we see here also. They will need to be overly loyal to this culture. Then we have the garden and the tower, this combination. This represents the elite. So it means that the elite implements, as you see here, keys for making their system secure. If the crowd don't follow, they will implement that because they want their system going here. There's authority here over the public, leadership. They will implement leadership in any way they can. This is really, it points to cultural arrogance. This is what we see here. They will shut the public out. How exactly that they rule? Because actually they don't rule for now. They just implement fear. Also, then we have the book and the key. This combination. There will be a certain breakthrough and certain secrets will be revealed. And whatever was hidden will come to light. So this will probably come in the 3 weeks to come. So starting today, some secrets will be revealed. But especially, I think the 8th and the 9th, a lot will come out. Things will get very clear here. People will learn here with this combination, the book and the key. They will learn, they will get key information how to behave, and they will have no choice. There's like a fated understanding here. This is fate and this is understanding. So they will have no choice, because if they don't understand or they refuse to follow, we have the coffin here. Here also, this points to people who are really loyal to the system, that they are allowed from the higher force or the higher superiority to study the secrets of Islam. Where are the roots of the religion? This is what we see here. But this is again in an extremist form. This is not a conviction that I'm making here towards the Islam. This is all about extremism. This is what we see here. Also, we see a lot of suffering here from the people. But these people who are allowed to learn these are the people who are the future of the system. So the devoted followers will be allowed, even in abroad, to study, because the tower is abroad. And these people will be allowed to go, if they can manage that, to universities abroad to study. This study is, of course, then used against the people for keeping the people small, and especially women. Also here, we will see there's a lot of things published, probably related about notarial things or about banking. There will be things exposed regarding to banking. Here then, also we see here, there are some limitations also from the budget here. But here this points, as I said, that some elect people will be allowed to get their doctorates and their PhDs in abroad. Some people who belonging to the crowd, we will be come in contact with insights, discoveries, and they will be unable to share this information with others. They will keep this to themselves because their own lives are in danger, and also they put danger in life of the other people. So people who come in that position will not talk to the media. This is what we see here also, even though they are devout Muslims, normal Muslims who are faithful, they will keep it to themselves because they have no choice. Here also, with this, some of these combination, we see that this is like the dark side of the collective is coming out through these people. It's a sad thing to say, but this is what we see here. Then we have the book and the writer. Here we see that they will have some secret contacts. There will be a revelation, and they will make sure that everybody understands the new goals and the new directions that they are going to take. But not all will be revealed in one time. It will come step by step because the tower is slow and the birds chatter around without saying something. So they will educate themselves in chattering, in talking without saying something. Also here, the key and the dog then. This combination, we see here that they seek advice of other people. They are in need of help. So people who are sympathetic to their cause will be called in for help. And it's possibly that this will shock the people or shock everybody who they actually calling in. But this is like their fated companion. And the system will agree to the plans that this friend or this cooperator, probably this will one of the 3 countries we mentioned earlier, they will agree to the plans that this friend formulates. Maybe it has to do with the natural resources for getting back on their feet. Maybe some loans are given. So this is what we see here. Also, we see with this combination again, the people are kept under lock and key. This is literally under lock and key because we see the key here and here. And here we see we pass the tower. So the people are unable to move, and their moves, the way they move is very restricted. So the people are literally kept under lock and key. Also with this combination, because the dog represents a part of the house, our territory, people, their houses will be invaded. It's like intrusive invasions in the house. And there is permission from the government, from the higher authorities to do this. So people, you can imagine that these people are frightened. So coming again to the end line. So here for the near future, we see here that there's indoctrination from the book, and the people will need to follow. And here we can see that women will be victimized. Even men will follow groups, crowds. So the situation is not good because the first card we have is that. This is not an easy message to deliver, but I thought this needed to be said. It's very sad for these people, what they're undergoing there, especially for the devout Muslims who are honest and who don't want to be part of this corrupt system. I wish all them very well there, but it will be a heavy period for them to endure. I hope you can find relief in your prayers. So this is all for now. Thank you for watching and see you in my other videos. Maybe we do a follow-up on this later on. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye-bye.